Okay, so a staple for me in my movie watching this time of year has always been Meet Me in St. Louis. I wouldn't say it's specifically a Christmas movie. It's good pretty much any time of the year, but I always watch it around this time of the year, or maybe around Halloween, because the movie has a Halloween sequence and a Christmas sequence in it, so it just sort of reminds me of one of those two holidays. Okay, so this time when I watched it, I didn't just watch it by itself. I watched it with the commentary. I was planning on watching it just by itself, but then I took a look at the commentary and I thought, "Oh, this is pretty good." It's not one where they just have a whole bunch of people together, you know. It does say it has, and it does have Hugh Martin and Margaret O'Brien and the author of the original stories. But the new commentary is just from, I don't remember his name, but a film historian. And it's one of those ones where he presents the new commentary, and then the rest is just archival interviews from everyone else, which I found kind of odd because Margaret O'Brien is still alive, so I don't know why they didn't just get her to do it. But that's okay. I still learned. And I learned some new things about the film too, like some casting choices. They originally wanted to have Robert Walker in the John Truitt role, which that would have been interesting. I mean, I only know him from Strangers on a Train, so for me that would be really odd to see. But I think he could probably do it. He was a really good actor. Or for instance, Judy Garland didn't want to do it. Mainly because of Margaret O'Brien, and not because she didn't like Margaret O'Brien, but because I think she thought she would be shown up by a 7-year-old. And yeah, Margaret O'Brien steals the show, I think. I think she definitely steals the show. She's one of my favorite child actors of all time. But, I mean, you're still Judy Garland. So Judy Garland's not going to get shown up by anyone. They just sort of share the spotlight. And one interesting thing about Margaret O'Brien being in the movie is that she was 7 years old when she did the movie, and so her mother was dealing with a lot of the business stuff, and she ended up wanting more money for the movie because of the work schedule, and she just thought that they deserved that. And of course, Warner Brothers did not. So she and Margaret left. They just left, and of course this is 1943 when they made it, so there was no easy way to find anyone. So they did have a backup plan, as Margaret says. They had a look-alike. They had look-alikes for actors, probably all age actors in those days, and so they even did costume tests with this other actress. They ended up finding Margaret and her mom in New York, and they bowed to everything that her mom wanted, and Margaret did the movie. Unfortunately, the other little girl didn't, which I'm sure was disappointing to her and her family very much. So, but hey, Margaret O'Brien, phenomenal. In fact, she won a special Oscar for her performance in this movie, as she should have, because it was pretty darn good. And her crying, of course, is fantastic. In fact, I once remembered hearing her say that she and another actress, I can't remember her name, but she and another actress they'd have a competition on, who could cry the best on screen. It was her responding to the comments, the constant comments that Vincent Minnelli got her to cry because he told her that her dog died, and it's like, no, she's just, as they say in this commentary, she was just really good at it. She could just cry on cue, like a lot of good actors nowadays. And one of my favorite funny stories about Margaret O'Brien on this movie was there's a scene when they're all having dinner together, and between takes she would just mess things around. She would move the furniture, not the furniture, the silverware. She would move the silverware and I think plates and things like that, so everything would have to get reset all the time. She didn't do this when her mother was on set. She was fine, of course, when her mother was on set. She was well behaved, but when her mother wasn't there, it was just precocious little 7-year-old girl. I think, like most people, one of my favorite songs in this movie is the Trolley song. That was a very interesting story by Hugh Martin because he was presenting, I think it was one of the producers who had written in the script, this would be a good place for a song, with a bunch of songs, like 5 or 6, but he kept just tossing them aside. It's like, no, 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 no. And little did Hugh Martin know, it was Hugh Martin and his writing partner, know that he wanted to have a song specifically about the trolley, which works. It works perfectly in the movie. It's a fantastic song. And I think no, that didn't get an award, but that was up for best song, I think, but it lost, which is too bad. It's the most memorable songs never win the Oscar, which does not make a whole lot of sense. But the Trolley song is just one of those moments where the scene starts and everyone starts singing. You've got the chorus of everyone on the trolley, and it's good. They're all good singers. But then Judy starts singing, and she's just one of those performers. It's like Sam Cooke, one of my all-time favorites, Freddie Mercury, Linda Ronstadt for sure, where once they start singing, it's no contest. No contest. It's good to have that chorus, and you got to have the background, but those people start singing, you stop singing, or you come in every so often for a chorus, but basically no, you shut up and listen. Probably the most classic song from this movie, but not the one that Hugh Martin loves the most. His biggest accomplishment in his eyes in this movie was The Boy Next Door, which is an early song that Judy Garland sings about John Truitt, which I obviously I can't remember off the top of my head, but that's also because I watched this with the commentary, so I wasn't really hearing much. But I like the fact that there was pretty much nonstop talking throughout the movie, because then I don't have time to get too involved with the movie and then someone starts talking, I'm like, stop. It's like, no, I get to just keep on hearing information, and I'm being able to pay attention to it more because they're not starting and stopping. But Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, which was written for this movie, I think most people probably know the story about it, but it was elaborated on a little bit more here. What it was Hugh Martin wrote a song for the Christmas scene, and Judy Garland was supposed to sing it to Margaret O'Brien, and it was very different. So Margaret O'Brien, of course, is very upset about having to move away to New York, just like the rest of the family is. And then Judy sings the song, and the original lyrics, I don't know them off the top of my head. There's some similar word uses, but basically the song was about have yourself a merry little Christmas right now, because things are going to change. We're going to move away. You're not going to see people again, and it was not the happiest thing to sing at that time. And that's what Judy says. I can't sing this to her. I'm trying to cheer her up. But Hugh would not budge on that one. He liked the song, so he was more insistent on writing a new song as opposed to changing the lyrics. And then, as was recounted in the commentary anyway, what's the name? The guy who plays John Truitt, Tom Drake, I think it is. He said that he took Hugh Martin out to coffee, And at least this is what I heard, was he just said, Hugh, you're being an ass. This could be a very classic Christmas song. Just sing the lyrics the way Judy wants them. And he finally gave in. He's like, yeah, okay, maybe you're right. And we have the version that we have today. I mean, today, when people record it, there's at least one line that they change. They might change some more, but there's at least one line that they change, because in the original version, she sings, until then, we'll have to muddle through somehow. And this is early on in the song. And most everyone sings, hang a shining star upon the highest bough, which I like. I think it's a good line. I like the use of the word bough. But it would be nice to hear more versions, and there probably are a bunch out there, because I'm sure it's been recorded a lot. In fact, I know it has. It's just one of those songs. And since this movie was set in 1903, people dressed a lot differently than they did in the 40s, the 50s, but that didn't really matter too much to at least one of the producers. I heard a story, and this never changes with people either, of course, was, what about Judy Garland's cleavage? You can't have a star without cleavage. What about that? And it's just, oh yeah, that never changes. It's just ridiculous. But regardless, I think that this movie has some really, really good costume design. That's some of the things that sticks out to me the most. Costume design, set design. Of course, the music is fantastic. The cinematography is really great. And it looks like it was shot by the same person throughout the film. It wasn't, because the Trolley song was actually shot by someone else. But it still looks consistent and like the same person shot it. It might have been the person's assistant, I don't know, but the regular cinematographer was off shooting another film, so that would be why he didn't do it. But there are a lot of filmmakers who could take clues from that and just keep that consistent look if you take over for someone else. So that's Meet Me in St. Louis, a holiday classic in my opinion, because usually that's when I watch it, is around the holidays. It just reminds me of that. Halloween, Christmas, all that. It's good year round. It's great year round. It's a fantastic musical. It's a fantastic movie. It's back when they did musicals that were also just really good movies. They weren't just musicals. They were really good movies. They were really good stories. So I encourage everyone to go out and watch this movie or buy this movie. Just see it somehow, because it is absolutely wonderful. I don't care if some things seem a little goofy because it was set in 1903. It's absolutely wonderful. Okay, thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.